You're listening to Diminishing Returns, the podcast about sequels, prequels, spin-offs, and reboots. I'm Chris Scott, and across from me, he's the man who taught me how to fuck, but I taught him how to love. It's Mr. Alan Johnson.
How do, pod people?
Mr. Alan Johnson will see you now.
50 Shades of Grey was originally written as a Twilight fanfiction, Master of the Universe, written by Snow Queen Ice Dragon. It featured characters created by Stephanie Myers from her sparkling vampire love saga Twilight. However, comments by users of fanfiction.net regarding the sexual content of the story saw author Erica Mitchell remove the story from the site. Under a new pen name of E.L. James, she would rework the story and rewrite an extended version, splitting it into 3 parts prior to publication, now under the 50 Shades monikers. The first book became a controversial sensation, going on to sell over 60 million copies. A bidding war for the film rights to the trilogy of novels would ensue, with Universal and Focus Films seeing off competition from Warner Brothers, Paramount, Sony and Mark Wahlberg's production company, among others. Like the books, the first film was a runaway success, which told the story of a virginal 21-year-old Anastasia Steele, an English literature student who is asked by her roommate to conduct an interview with Christian Grey, a 27-year-old self-made billionaire. The clumsy, shy and unsure Anna thinks she has made no impression at all on Grey, having stumbled her way through the interview. However, something about her has intrigued the billionaire bachelor. The film charts the courtship of the pair and Anna's introduction into the world of BDSM and sex play. Anna's refusal to fully submit to Christian's will and his emotional lockdown see the pair split at the end of the first film. The second film, 50 Shades Darker from 2017, begins with the recurring nightmare of Christian over the abuse he suffered as a child. Anna begins a new dream job at a publisher's, and the pair begin to reconnect. Anna's boss begins to reveal his true intentions as Christian begins his pursuit of Anna in earnest. The boss, who finally oversteps his boundaries, is fired. Christian's surprise proposal of marriage is put in jeopardy, however, when he's involved in a helicopter accident. Later, everyone looks forward to the upcoming nuptials, but Anna's disgraced boss looks on to the happy scene from afar, plotting his revenge. Did he sabotage Christian's chopper? How far will he go to seek his retribution?
That's right, it's 2 middle-aged dudes talking about 50 Shades of Grey and 50 Shades Darker. Alan, I don't know about you, we haven't really talked about this, but I think we can both agree this is one of the most beautiful and erotic experiences we've ever had, right? Wow.
When this film finished, I rolled off and had a cigarette.
Yeah. I mean, there's no surprises here, guys. These are not good films. I mean, these are barely films. I mean, somebody's made 2 films even, without ever actually seeing films and going, you know what films have? What? You know, like drama, protagonists, stakes. These 2 films, and I know they're not for us, but I guess let's just dive into this as if it's like a heady romance between a sort of young, winsome college graduate and a billionaire. You said he was self-made. That's really ambiguous in the thing as well, isn't it?
What struck me as I was watching it, I thought, this guy's like sex Batman. He's an orphan. He's a billionaire. He's out at night. He's doing weird stuff.
I literally wrote the same thing. He's a millionaire playboy with a hidden life. He's kinky Batman. Or, a more kinky Batman. Because Batman's already pretty kinky.
But at 27 years old, he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
I find that incredibly hard to believe, especially as throughout the 2 movies, he didn't seem to be doing anything but sitting stone-faced in a business meeting.
Yeah.
It was like somebody who has no notion of sex, human relationships, BDSM, or how big business works, decided to write a series of hugely successful books, which
you know, you made a joke about the writing class scene in Throw Mama from the Train.
And last bonus,
Yeah, and you know how, like, in that there's a great bit where it's like, the Navy person pressed a button on the console, right? Or something like that. Like, this is that fucking story. This is business stuff. Sex stuff.
Yeah. It's really important to set up how I approach these movies, because the opening of the first film...
Pants down, cock out.
The opening of the first film started with clouds, and that to me, I was like, oh, I'm in a daydream. I'm in someone's daydream. It's like a fairy tale that's going to unspool.
Classic fairy tale stuff.
And so I had to just be like, this has to be high fantasy.
For me, the first thing I love is that the building that I guess he owns, he calls it Grey House. It's just like, all right, mate, we get it. And then kind of goes like, ooh, here's Grey Tower. And then immediately sort of cuts to Anastasia Steele. And this is what I love about it. This whole film is sort of set in motion because somebody has an important interview to do for their college magazine, but has the flu. And so she basically goes, I can't do it. Can you, Anastasia Steele, somebody who's never done any of this reporting, can you go and do this and interview this mad billionaire guy? There's a couple of things there. The Blassie's got the cold. I mean, she seems alright. Like, just fucking take a couple of fucking paracetamol, you know, get some Lemsip in you, and fucking, they literally go, it's a 15-minute interview. Right, well, even if you think I'm not well enough to drive, Anastasia can drive you. You literally have to not be, like, throwing up for 15 minutes, right? So her flatmate already, I'm not a fan of, right? Then she's like, oh, Anastasia Steele, you can do it. I guess it's meant to be like she's a kind of kooky, like, oh, God, what am I going to do? I'm so nervous. But then one of my favourite lines of dialogue of all time, right? I mean, this is going to be up there with the greats.
Okay.
Because I think if you've ever tried to write fiction, the important thing is to try, how do you convey character through dialogue, right?
Yeah.
Without it seeming clunky. They've nailed it in this one. She goes, oh, you know how to get to the building? You're interviewing Christian Grey, and Anastasia Steele turns around and says, hey, I have a GPS and a 4.0 GPA. Oh, now we know you're also smart. Well done, writers. GPS and GPA, real fucking geniuses. She goes and does this interview, Al, right?
Yes.
Now, here's another thing. At this interview, Anastasia, this is a problem I have with this whole fucking film.
Yeah.
From what I hear, she's got a GPA of 4.0, right? So she's quite smart. She's studying English lit.
Yep.
Now, if it was like, I can't make this interview, I'll send my roommate. Oh God, they're an engineering student. Like she's already good with words and shit, I'm assuming. She reads. She's had to probably write essays. But to her, the idea of asking these questions that are already written, and she's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, hold on a second. She's lying about this GPA thing for a start. I don't think she's going to graduate. What I also love about it is they've obviously went, as soon as they meet, there's going to be this attraction, right?
Sparks are gonna fly.
She literally trips over as she walks in the door and falls over like something out of a fucking slapstick film. So, oh great, she's just meeting this billionaire. Yeah, she's gonna maybe be a bit nervous, but she turns like into somebody with like effectively developmental problems, right? And then she also immediately is like, she's got the pen in her mouth as if it's a cock, and then she's also, every time she speaks, oh, this is me speaking normally. It's like, holy shit, is she having an asthma attack? She's so breathy all the fucking time. Like, I'd be sitting there going, get her some Ventolin. Is this room dusty? Christian Grey, you're a billionaire.
So there's only two people in this film that are really given any kind of character, and I use that word so loosely. Anastasia Steele, which the name alone...
I mean, I do quite like the names. I'm not going to lie. They should be solving mysteries like international international spies and shit.
Going back to the fairy tale thing, she's Anastasia, like the lost Russian princess. She seems to be portrayed as this mousy woman who every man is wildly attracted to. Yeah. It's like she's got some magical power, and yet she's this virginal, inexperienced lover. Yeah. It was hard to tell if she'd even had previous boyfriends.
No, I want to call bullshit on that one. Yeah, sure, okay, yeah, you went through college without getting pumped. All right, hen. Okay, yeah, I'll believe you.
You know, there may have been some experimentation with a roommate. We don't know. Like,
we need to know exactly how much. Like, has she had? Have you been fingered? Have you been eaten out? How many fingers have been in you? I need to know exactly how much of a virgin you are, Anastasia. That's what Christian Grey should have done. You're a virgin. Well, let's just see exactly. You blew a guy, right? Okay, it's like a Christian virgin. Okay, right.
But as a character, so she's like this, like all-powerful siren who just seems to make men attracted to her. It's insane. She's also at once wildly inexperienced in the matters of love. But you think she's at it. So she's inexperienced, but somehow she's able to stand her ground against Christian Grey, who's a hard-nosed businessman and won't take no for an answer. All the way through both of these movies of her being incredibly weak-willed and passive and just wanting to be scooped up in this man's arms for this like really 1950s cosseted image of like gender normative behaviour between man and woman. It is mind-blowingly stupid.
I think she's been fingered. That's all. Like, she's definitely been fingered. She's like drunk once, at least two. But yeah, I mean, what you said sounds right as well. Cool. Yeah. So there's her. Then there's obviously Christian Grey, who is basically like Elon Musk, or you know, a handsome Weinstein. There's like a lonely billionaire, but he's also quite. Just a bit.
I can understand if you're a billionaire, maybe, and a billionaire at 27, you don't really necessarily want to run with the billionaire set. You know, looking at other people like, you know, Warren Buffett. Other billionaires are going to be pretty like stuffy.
You're not going to fuck George Soros.
No.
More like George Soros. Come on, guys. Yeah.
So I can maybe understand it. Maybe amongst his like business peers, it's hard for him to fight.
There's not a lot of fanny.
Yeah, but his phallic office building, grey house, would spare me.
Which is what I call my cock.
It's peopled with women who look like they're just out of that Robert Palmer video.
Yeah, totally.
Every one of them's like this icy vixen, like statuesque. I mean, they just look like a team of sex robots that are just programmed to, when they're not being on the reception desk in his office, that they're in there servicing him. It is the weirdest.
Oh my, holy shit! Yeah, that's not where my mind went. There's a bunch of like good-looking secretaries. I guess that makes sense. But sure, sex robots servicing him. I mean, whatever, man. Do you think he's programmed them to feel pain? Beep boop. No, Mr. Grey.
Well,
this is sore. I will not shit right for a week. Beep boop.
Being as he's not programmed to feel pain, he's just this stone of a man. He's grey. He's hard.
If only he meets somebody that could take him out of that, but I guess that's never going to happen. Like, he's immediately like, I am so taken by this bumbling moron. You know, like I do wonder if he's like, man, she's really dumb. I could totally take advantage of her. Like, I could really like get her to sign some weird contract and just stick stuff up her butt because I'm a creep. Like, there's a really weird thing. Like, if you look like Jamie Dornan, right, this film is like, oh god, you know, he's probably got something about him, and if we could just get him out, he's actually quite romantic, right? If the billionaire looked like me or you, it is a story about some creepy dudes trying to fuck women. Now, let me be very clear. I am a creepy dude trying to fuck women. I'm just saying, where's my 3-picture deal? That's all.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe Anastasia's so far out of his norm, like he's just bored with the women in his office, and like she comes in and he's like, oh, this is so exotic, and I've never seen someone
most women
like
can
this.
walk down that tiny step without falling. God, she's probably got some inner ear problem. I am so hard right now. Yeah. So, but he's so immediately obviously taken with her, right?
Yeah.
There's then sort of follows some scenes. Now, this is what I like about these films, and by like I mean it's incredibly stupid and fun to talk about here, but we're doing my tits in when I watched it. So immediately there's like then a scene with her with this guy who's like obviously like in the friend zone, but he doesn't want to be in the friend zone, and he's a photographer and stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, this is where the conflict's going to be in this film. So there's going to be like, oh, she really likes Christian, but he's cold and emotionally distant, whereas she likes this guy as a friend, but he'll be honest with her, and no, it's literally like, oh yeah, this guy probably wants to fuck you. We're not seeing him for most of this film, and he'll never barely even speak to any of the other characters. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad we took up an extra couple of minutes of this film doing that, and a film which, by the way, is about 2 hours long.
Oh my
2 hours long
to
do a story that is literally nothing. Well done, guys. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like, oh wait, they've introduced this character. They'll probably be nope, they're gone. It's just they're in, they're out, they're in, they're out.
She's working in the hardware store, and Christian Grey comes into his shop for some tape, and
he's turned up at her work, and we all know it's not an accident.
No.
So he turns up and he's all like, oh, I've just turned up here. Definitely didn't stalk you. Jamie Dornan does that to you. It's like, oh my god, like he is amazing. Right? I mean, he would do anything for her. It's amazing because he's a good looking boy. How a lot of weird fucking shit.
He does not understand boundaries at all. Like he's always showing up places, like breaking in her fucking house, like giving her shit,
giving her a computer,
a car.
Right, I know. But also the thing is like they kind of have a sop to like how creepy it is, but they don't actually. It's kind of at the limit of this guy like stalks her, is controlling, wants to control every moment of her life, and it's like played off as if it's like, oh yeah, he's really particular about where he puts his knife and fork in the drawer. Like it's like a minute kind of like, I mean, I love him anyway, but God, you know, if I could change one thing, if he could put the seat down on the toilet, it's played as that instead of like, this guy's a fucking mental case. So he kind of eventually, far too long into this film, he's like, come on, let's get it on. I want to explain my deal to you. And he takes her back to his fucking millionaire's, you know, apartment or building or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, you know, I'm looking for somebody who's a sub, who's submissive, not like a submersible boat. That would be really, really kinky. He says, I'm looking for somebody who's a sub, you know, who's submissive, blah, blah. He goes, let me show you this room. And he opens up and there's all these like giant horsehair whips and stuff. Christian, mate, start small.
Yeah.
Just be like, have a cabinet with like one tiny whip in it. Do you know what I mean? He's like, straight away is like, look at the massive whips I want to beat you with.
Yeah, maybe a bit of blindfold and, silk ties. Let's start slow and sensual.
But not like a fucking cupboard. Like, it's a full fuck room of pain.
It's like an armory.
Yeah. Like in another room.
A mace and a halberd.
Like, it's like the room where fucking John Matrix from Commando would tool up before he went on a mission. It's fucking a film that I found more erotic than this.
The year after the release of this book, emergency rooms saw a spike in injuries relating to BDSM and sex toys because of inexperienced people who just read these books or got their engines all revved up and then just started going to town on one another.
They should have put like the warning from Jackass at the start of these films. These is done by professionals, Wow, that's hilarious. I'm also not going to lie, BDSM gets a bad rap, but the British School of Motoring is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
An issue I have in this film is that E.L. James, the author of the books, she doesn't seem to actually understand BDSM, which is like bondage, dominance, sadomasochism. She seems to have a fantastical idea of what it is. It's like this housewife fantasy of, wouldn't it be great if someone could scoop her out of her mundane day-to-day life, the drudgery of her 9 to 5, and whisk her off to some sex dungeon that's all red and beautiful and opulent and has a cornucopia of things to put in and put on. But the sex in this film is deeply unsexy.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy has a move. It's like, I'm going to muff you for 30 seconds, and then I'm on day 1, we're getting a bit of vanilla pumping. Day 2, I'm going to flip you around and we're getting a bit of doggy. But that's it. That seems to be all that's on the menu. We don't explore sexuality in any way. Like films like The Story of O or Wild Orchid or even the
Transformers the Last Night. I mean, basically, I think you're right. In this film, what I noticed is that they just really want to make you very aware that Christian Grey is fucking brilliant at eating pussy and fingering. Like, because that is... And listen... If you're good at it, go for it, man, But it is very much like, for this sort of, like, this is going to be wild, it's like, he's just really good at these kind of obvious two things. And listen, it's like, if you're a football team, there's nothing wrong with playing a big man up front, knocking it down 4-4-2. It's sometimes, it'll still get results. There's nothing wrong that it doesn't...
Fundamentals, is that what you're saying?
Get the fundamentals right. That's it. You've got get your defence right, and you've got a base to build on. That's what eating pussy and fingering is, and that is what it is for Christian Grey. But like, every sex scene, it's like, oh yeah, I get it. He's fucking great at this. Okay, guys. Alright. And he's a billionaire. Well, fine. I mean, I could maybe be good at one of those things. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be a billionaire. So I like the bit where he's like, we're going to have a contract. That made me laugh.
I will say this for this first film. Sam Taylor Johnson, the director of this film, certainly staged the film interestingly. There was things going on that I would be like, oh, this is good. Like the negotiation for the sort of like the non-disclosure for the sex act. That scene's set up nicely. It's nicely shot. Sometimes the palette looks really nice. But
is that like a term for her pussy or something?
No, unfortunately not. Sam Taylor Johnson says that she was on board for the sequels when she signed on. She signed on to do them all. But the production of the first film was so torturous for her because she kept trying to make a film out of it. But James, the author of the books, was there as a producer, and she was unrelenting and refused to have any of the dialogue changed, which in the books is very leaden and tin-eared. If you want to laugh, go and just like Google worst 50 Shades reviews, because there's some incredibly acerbic Amazon reviews which are hilarious. So this film should be interesting from the point of view of, we've got a female director, we've got a female writer in Kelly Marcel, and we've got a female producer in E.L. James. But James is ruling this production with an iron hand. She refuses
an iron hand that she slaps people with because it's fucking bondage, guys.
She's refusing to see any of her dialogue changed, and she's trying to keep it as close to the book as possible, whereas Taylor Johnson's actually trying to break out from that and actually trying to make a film from it. And those two forces coming against each other, yes, in parts it looks beautiful, but it falls so flat because wooden performances and 10-year dialogue just drag the whole thing down because the films are virtually plotless.
Yeah. So, interesting thing, I believe that Patrick Marber did a bit of punch up on the script. Patrick Marber is like a very well-respected playwright and helped co-create Alan Partridge, which does make me want to see an Alan Partridge spoof of 50 Shades of Grey.
And also, I think you and I are clearly not the audience for these.
Right.
These movies are made for hen night parties. Lonely people of many sexual peccadillos.
It's people that aren't getting orgasms.
Yes,
That's what we mean. Do they just need to come?
Yes.
Right? And if that should be a human right. I mean,
Yes.
Listen, I'm going to go to Kofi Annan at the UN. Is he still the guy at the UN? I don't think so. But, we kind of joke about it being like, we're dudes and we're watching this. But, I know plenty of ladies who will hate this film as well. It's not like, and I'm sure our female listeners will be like, yeah, guys, we're with you on this one. It's fucking shit. However, interestingly, if you're not and you do actually really like this film, I would genuinely be interested to hear why. diminishingpod@gmail.com. Please let us know. So yeah, he makes her sign this contract. He's trying to get her sign this contract.
Yes.
He's like, listen, this is not going to be a romantic thing and blah, blah, blah. But then she immediately, that's where she goes like, oh, I'm a virgin. And he's like, oh, you know how I told you that you could never sleep in my bed? I'm going to take you to bed and hold you because I love you so much. Oh no, wait, conflict inside. I don't know. Maybe I do love her, blah, blah, right? Bullshit. But they have the contract. They have some nice scenes because they're kind of like going, I'm not going to let you shove this stuff up my butt or whatever. And that is quite funny.
Yeah, she wants fisting taking out the contract.
Same thing
she
when I
knows
was.
Her mind.
It's the same thing when I did the Lisa in my new flat. I mean, I must admit, it was a weird request, but it ended up being okay. Like, so again, this is where you're just like, guys, come on. She hasn't been to uni. I'll tell you this right now, because there's a bit, right? So he's giving her a contract, goes, go away and read it, take your time, make sure you're happy, agree with it, and all that sort of stuff, right? So he's then, like, after a week, sort of texting her. So he texts her and says something like, have you read the contract and done your research? And she texts back, what do you think I should research? And he says, submissive. And then she types that into Google. Right, hold on, you have fucking, you've got 4.0 grade point average, or whatever the fuck that GPA thing is, right? That means you're, like, top of your fucking class, pretty much, right? You've just graduated English Lit. You must have done some sort of research, right? For your degree. She generally then types submissive into Google. It's not like she's being sarcastic. I thought at first she was being sarcastic, and then it shows you her typing submissive into Google and going, oh!
She's being coquettish, trying to like go, be playfully
what
flirtatious.
should I research?
Now, I, out of interest, just typed submissive into...
That's out of interest. Okay, Al, yeah, sure. Right, we all believe you.
I wanted to know what popped up. The first thing that pops up when I did it was just a dictionary definition, hardly sexy, and then after that it was just like a million photographs of like 50 Shades of Grey book covers.
But yeah, when you've asked me to be your submissive and there's a whole document full of the words submissive and sub and asking for about bondage and stuff, and it literally takes that guy to go, fucking maybe you should look up submissive. She's graduated uni. What college is this?
I know. What I liked is a guy who comes up a lot in here, Fake Vecchio, the Cylon, pops in as her stepdad.
That's her stepdad, yeah.
Now, I hoped that he was a notary republic and she was going to go, I'm just going to get my dad to proof the contract. Just
yeah.
Just, there's a lot of legalese in here. I don't quite understand the language. I'm going to get somebody just to read it over. I've just asked my stepdad, Ray. He's
Surely you just have a scene where you see her with a contract and then looking up different terms. Christian Grey, of course, this is sort of obviously playing to his, again, inverted commas, character. He's all business. He's a business-like man. He doesn't, this is not about love, this is about business. And that's what he even says to her, I'd like to fuck you into the middle of next week. So even his fucking is a standard 3 to 5 working days. That's what I like about Christian Grey. He's fucking very much on the line. I mean,
office hours only.
Aye, fucking business days is what it's all about. So at this point, right, there's still like an hour to go. And I've just I wrote this. There's lots of tits, but I'm bored of tits. Big boring diddies.
It's interesting in a film that's meant to be dealing with the opening of a sexual flower. That
definitely means vagina, right? Okay.
In the world of Game of Thrones, we get to see a dick now and again.
Right.
Don't even think we got to see Christian's arse. Plenty of like oiled torso. He's certainly naked very regularly, but we see very little. You
know how there's a bit where he's got like little like burn marks and stuff?
Yeah, he's got his chest.
He's got sort of scars and stuff in his chest, and she's like, oh, these burn marks and all that. And like he's always like
don't touch my chest.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
And then he's also direct quote from the film. And then he goes, but he also is like, and he's also like always blind for him. I was like expecting a scene where like he takes down his pants, he's got a big mangled burnt cock. It's like a big fucking like gross like like a big mangled cock. Everyone else looks amazing, but I've got a weird fucking fucked up dick. But that's not the case as far as I'm aware. So I was like, Christian Grey, we talk about Christian Grey's character, right? All buttoned up and stuff. So there's bits where you see his like old room.
Oh yes,
right?
please.
And so he's into like MMA or some shit.
He's got an MMA poster.
Chronicles of Riddick.
Chronicles of Riddick
Now,
poster.
which made me go, we should have done that for this fucking podcast. But also,
I did them, like, he's 27, and the film came out in, was it 2015?
right, yeah. Have you done the maths?
You go back, like, in that timeline, that would have put him as being around 11 or 12 when that film came out.
Right.
No 11 or 12 year old would have been at Chronicles of Riddick.
Come on, shut up, Al. We would have definitely, if we were 11 or 12, would have been into Chronicles
Pitch
of Riddick.
Black, maybe. Chronicles of Riddick, no way.
Dude, I can't believe you remember the ending.
And so I looked back over what Universal had out in 2004, because obviously it had to be a Universal film.
Yeah.
Absolute kludge. The biggest hit they had was Bridget Jones. And I was
It'd be amazing if that was the Bridget Jones poster.
out of the Universal back catalogue, they couldn't have just found some film that they could have gone, he likes this. Born Supremacy came out in 2004. A Jason Bourne film would have been much more appropriate up in the wall. But Chronicles of Riddick, it just made me laugh.
But also, that was like one of my favourite bits of the film, so no, please, I'm glad they kept it in. But also, I love the fact that it's like, oh, so he's this like angry young dude and who's into like dorky MMA and fucking, yeah, people in MMA are like, oh, we're not dorky. Yeah, you're really fucking, like, you're more dorky than cosplay cunts, and I hate them as well. Also, what I love about that is that it's like, oh, that's this guy. So he's still only 27, a billionaire. So of course he's like listening to Sinatra and shit when he's it's like, no, cut me into pieces. This is my last resort. Or something like that.
Papa Roach.
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit.
Yep.
Alien Ant Farm.
Yep.
He's big on Blink 182, doesn't it?
Yep, and then like Anastasia.
Linkin Park is
Anastasia comes in and he's fucking like asking her to dance to What's My Age Again. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to be Sinatra. Shut the fuck up, guys. But again, it's that weird thing of this middle-aged lady that's writing. It's like, it'd be nice if a billionaire let me dance to Sinatra. I mean, so the first film in particular, I mean, it's super unsexy.
It features something I hate in films. Like, because I was enjoying this so little, I took this as being an exercise in just classic film studies, because everything that appears on
Because it's a classic film.
everything that appears on screen is important in some way. So Chronicles of Riddick, the MMA poster, in his apartment, everything's cold and hard and, really dark tones. So all of that stuff. But then it hit on the moment in the movie that I always hate, which of pathetic fallacy, where they're both sad, so it's raining outside.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, oh my God, I know this is set in Seattle, the Pacific Northwest, and it rains there a lot, but at that moment when they just happen to be sad, it was awful. Pathetic fallacy just sums it up beautifully, but I fucking hated it. This film kind of flops to its finale, which is where they've been through all this playful, flirtatious business negotiation to get down to some pumping, and Anna's decided that it's not what she wants. She backs away from the deal. She's out and Christian's crushed. Oh, she must be getting in because he's beginning to feel emotion. The film finishes, they're both sad, but they've gone back to their respective lives.
Yeah. Now here, Al, I just want to point out the reason they split up, right?
Yeah.
The crux of the splitting up is that like they're kind of like, I don't want to be your contracted fucking submissive, I want boyfriend, girlfriend. Yeah. And he's like, but I can't do it, I'm so much. But and then she's like, why do you want to hurt me? Why do you need to hurt me? And he says, because I'm 50 Shades of Fucked Up. Brilliant. Title of the movie and the dialogue. Come on, you can't believe you missed that one. Yeah. But then she goes, if you want to do it, do your worst. Show me how bad it's going to be. Now, up to this point, they've done like a bit of light bondage and a bit of sort of light whipping and stuff, right? So he then takes her into the bondage fuck room, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, this is where it's all going to go wrong.
This is where he's going to put on a spiked cod piece.
It's like he's going to put out like a studded glove and fist.
He's going to open an umbrella inside her.
Do you know what I mean? Like, this is going to be fucking fucked up. And he takes out a whip and he goes, I'm going to do this to you 6 times. It's like, oh, he's already whipped her. And he whips her hard and it looks sore. And he whips her 6 times. And then she goes, oh my God, that is awful. I'm out of here. And I'm going, wait, like he'd already whipped you. He's just done it harder. That's not a huge leap. Like, am I mental? And I have no interest in kink, right? I love fucking vanilla missionary than a good cry. Like, I just want to hold him and say, never leave me, please. But I was expecting like he's going to do something like really kind of fucked up, and it was like, shit, you've went from 0 to fucking 60 and she's not ready for it, and actually, man, that's not cool, whatever. And in the end I was like, the kinky controlling millionaire guy, I'm like, yeah, dude, what the fuck was that about? Like, you've literally just done the same shit you did earlier in the film, but just a bit more, and not
the next step up.
Yeah, but it's all consensual. I couldn't believe this supposedly fucking kinky sex film is so vanilla. Like, if you were asking me, a man who is genuinely childish about these things, right? Who's like, sex is funny, right? It is. It's a lot of squelchy stuff and weird things happening. It's very funny. And if you went, Chris, what would you think would be kinky? I'd be like, oh God, I don't know. I'm not kinky at all. I guess whipping, is that kinky? That's like the lame person that knows nothing like, whipping is to kink what Bob Marley is to reggae.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everybody knows that one. Do you know what I mean? Oh, you a kink expert? Yes, I've heard of whipping. It's like saying I'm a reggae expert and I've only heard of Bob Marley. It makes no sense. I couldn't believe that that's what she walked out on. What is the Augustus Pablo of kink, guys? Who know? Again, email us at diminishingpod@gmail.com with the subject matter Augustus Pablo of kink. Really fucking strange, right? So, one last thing I want to point out to you about the first film.
Okay.
There's 8 stunt performers credited in the film. How kinky are the deleted scenes if they had stunt performers in? Like 8 stunt performers. I thought you'd appreciate that, man. Hi, I'm Chris Scott, the guy that you've just been listening to, but not the old guy. That's Alan Johnson. Anyway, if you're in or around Glasgow in March, I have 2 shows at the Glasgow Comedy Festival. The first is a stand-up show on the 16th of March downstairs at the Iron Horse pub. It's called 3 Men and a Tall Lady, and the event is on our Diminishing Returns Facebook page. There are ticket links there. It's £5 to see 4 newish stand-up comics from Glasgow, and we hope to see you there. And the second show that I'm doing at the Glasgow Comedy Festival in March is on Thursday the 22nd of March, again downstairs at the Iron Horse pub. It's an improv show with my improv group, Improv Killed My Dog. We're doing a show called Improv Killed the Video Star. It's a film-themed comedy show, and hey, you guys like films and probably laughing, so why not come along? That is on the Improv Killed My Dog Facebook page. Just search for Improv Killed My Dog. Thanks for listening to this advert I've put into my own show, I'm a Dick. Right, 50 Shades Darker. So it starts this flashback about, because obviously, we maybe didn't mention, Christian Grey, abused as a child, crack addict mother. And
he's been adopted by a rich family.
He's a self-made rich man from a rich family. So you have a little scene, okay, it's about him being a kid, and it's like, oh, it looks bad, and, you know, he's probably going to get abused. So we kind of starting off with the last film ended, like, oh, they're apart, Christian's lonely, and Anastasia's lonely, and God, you know, we really want them to get together. 2 minutes later, they're like, oh yeah, do you want to get back together? Yeah. 2 minutes into the fucking film, they've set up, oh, this film's going to be the Empire Strikes Back of 50 Shades Darker,
that's
right?
Exactly what I was thinking.
How does he win her back? Literally, he goes, come on, and she goes, aye, all right. And that's it. Within fucking 2 minutes.
He showed up again. He's not respecting her boundaries. He's not respecting what she said. She said, you know, I want time apart, and he just keeps showing up. Holy fuck, this is a love story for the ages. This is 10 minutes into the second film, and it's like back together. You're like, okay, so there's no dramatic tension.
Yeah, so there's a great line of dialogue that I liked where friend zone wannabe boyfriend guy has got a photography exhibition where he's, without her knowledge, put up loads of pictures of her. Anastasia, you attract creepy weirdos, right? And we'll get to more of those later in the film. But then, creepy friend zone guy, Jose, I'm not born to live. The fact that I remember the 2 main characters is weird, right? She's going, what the hell? My picture goes, hey, look, it's going great. Somebody's bought all the pictures of you, and it's like, all right, guys, come on, it's Christian Grey. The cool thing would have been if it was somebody else.
Yeah, I wonder if we've met a billionaire before that could just come in and buy
stuff. An obsessive billionaire that likes Anastasia Steele.
Who seems to want to have you live under sheer law. Like, he doesn't want anyone else to see your face. Yep. He's so puritanical, no one else can gaze upon thee. But
again, they set up like, well, who could have bought that? And then literally he walks in. He goes, hey, it was me.
I like how he's looking a bit rough, like the breakup's really got into him.
Like he's not shaved. He's not shaved for 2 days, so he looks like a billionaire, beautiful man who has now got rugged stubble. Nightmare, mate. Fucking nightmare.
It would have been great if he just had like ice cream stains in his shirt and a bit of a podge on. And his arms is withered.
But he comes up and he says something lame like, I'd like to renegotiate terms, right? Again, I need to remind you, graduate of what I assume is a prestigious university, English lit, right? She's walked into a top job in the publishing industry. Now let's be clear, publishing industry's on its knees. They're not just giving out fucking jobs willy-nilly, right?
They must be publishing erotic novels.
It's the only growth market now.
Although charity shops around the UK have pleaded with people to stop bringing in their old copies of the 50 Shades books because they have so many.
Again, Anastasia, who we are led to believe is a smart, bright woman.
Yeah.
She says to Christian, you are getting off on the pain you inflicted on me. Yeah. Remember when he said, I would like you to be my submissive?
I have singular tastes.
I'm into bondage. I'm pretty sure if you look up bondage in the dictionary, it's going to be like, yeah, the person that does it gets off on the pain they're inflicting.
If you could only just Google that word.
Yeah, if only you could have done some research earlier. You fucking moron. You're dumber than the chair I'm sitting on. That is the dumbest thing ever, but maybe it's like, here are our big philosophical poles, we're poles apart. But then the next scene is like, no, we're back together. Yeah. Like, they're just back together. And then it's like, I think it's post-coitus, right? Oh, yeah, that's right. Chris used a Latin term for the fucking. he says
I've written kinky fuckery.
Kinky fuckery. The Happy Monday single. There's a bit where he says, like, basically, why didn't you have sex when you're a college girl? And she's like, I was reading Bronte and Austen and no one measured up. You're a grown woman? What does that even mean? You're mental. You're fucking mental.
Oh, but there's a mysterious waif in the background.
Yeah.
This is taking a turn.
Yeah, they're building towards something. Good. Okay, at least I can relax knowing
We've
that they'll...
got that pot
on
the boil.
That's it. It's on the pot. That's there. Hey, you've got that. Keep that. That's in the bag. Basically, she's got a new job in this fucking publishing house. She's got a boss who is also a pure ride.
Hunky boss.
I mean, right?
A bit of a swagger to him. He seems cool.
Right. And again, you think, oh, maybe they're doing this thing where maybe she's got this new powerful guy and maybe it's the thing about that and it's about how does she deal with...
A bit of female empowerment because she's managed to actually turn down world's most eligible billionaire bachelor.
Yeah.
So she's feeling a bit gallus. She's thinking, I can explore the world.
Yeah.
I've been opened up to new things.
Clamps.
I'm really into 30 seconds of muffing, a bit of fingering,
Aye.
and then just down the business.
Right, and then immediately he's like, oh, I'm a creepy bastard. Yeah. They have a woman from HR come in and like everybody's giving each other looks and it's like, yeah, like real shady looks and it's like, oh, here's another one he's gonna rape. Oh no.
Here's that form you need.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And you're like, man, I don't know if this R-rated 18 certificate film is grown up enough to deal with this sort of shit. And it's so like obvious that he's a creepy bastard, right? But again, it was also as well, it's like her first day and he's immediately just like, oh my god, who is this?
Yeah, I read an article this week about how the Me Too movement is actually having an effect on erotic cinema, and studios have like shut down production on certain movies because the notions of consent and all of these things that we're speaking about in society are all like now something that people are looking at that they've now reflected and thought, oh,
hey, maybe being a creepy bastard isn't sexy.
Yeah. Oh, that's all I could think is here's the boss and he's trying to be all like, come in the office. Oh, you know, you want to get up this ladder, you've got to climb on something else. I'm the guy that can make things happen for you. This is really super depressing.
But the thing is, I mean, at least he is obviously creepy and meant to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But he's not that far away from Christian Grey.
No,
like, I mean, he's just like worse at it.
Yeah, he's got less money. He just can't buy her stuff.
Aye, he can't just like fly over to the country when she goes to visit her mum. Remember there was a scene in the first week and he just turns up. It's like, I'm visiting my mum here.
Yeah.
And this guy is, I mean, yes, he is creepier, but by a factor, not a huge factor. I was going to try and quantify it and I thought, I don't think I want to do that.
Listen, if the movie hasn't quantified it, why should you take the time?
Why should I think more about this film than the filmmakers? Quite right. It's fucking insane. So we do see this waif-like figure every now and again, and you're like, okay, there's some mystery there. We also get to meet Kim Basinger.
Yeah, Elena, who is the Mrs. Robinson, as she was referred to in the first film.
Yeah.
The woman who introduced Christian when he was a young man to the sexual world.
Aye, so again... Let's do the maths on this. What era Kim Basinger is he getting on with? He's quite young.
He says it's from he was 15, so that's only, I mean, it's still only going back 10, 11 years. So 8 Mile era.
8 Mile era Kim Basinger. Okay, that's good. Right, so we know what we're dealing with. Kim Basinger, of course, has a rich history of erotic films. I think we all know the big one I'm talking about. That's right, Cool World. Yeah, if you're a younger listener, let me fucking try and explain what Cool World is. It was ostensibly a sexy cartoon. What a fucking weird, creepy idea. Starring Brad Pitt. But it's basically like, wouldn't it be great if Kim Basinger had cartoon titties? No, it wouldn't. That's not sexy. The amount of money that must have been floating around in Hollywood in those days where somebody's just like, let's spend a fuckload of money on a sexy cartoon. Okay, guys. Yeah, so she's
of course, was in 9.5 Weeks, which suffered from a similar problem to these films, which is because of the rating system, it effectively is a lot of clothed eroticism.
Yeah.
You know, like there's only so far you can really push it without just straying into adult film territory.
Adult films like Sideways, about wine and stuff.
Yeah. Obviously, Kim Basinger's had a bit of previous, shall we say, in the world of erotic cinema. A bit of stunt casting, I guess you would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So she was the sexy older lady that taught him about bondage and shit and all that sort of stuff. And so again, so there's another wee conflict and she keeps kind of turning up and going, you'll never be enough for him. You don't understand what he needs. And it's like, how do do you know this? Unless Christian's been telling her stuff, which it doesn't seem like he has. How do you know what they get up to? Like, she's going, you'll never be enough for him. I would have loved it if she turned around and went, no, I'll let him stick a fist up my butt. Like, I really am in, even if she wasn't just was like saying it, like, he got these Freddy fingers and put them up me. And then have Kim Basinger's character go, oh, actually, you guys are going to be fucking perfect, I guess. I should, I'm sorry, I'm hanging around like the ghost at a wedding here, you know?
Basinger's got a business with Christian, which is what's keeping her in his life. They own some kind of like hairdressing salon together, which appears to feature the only gay character in either of these two films I've seen, and he's a classic stereotype gay hairdresser.
Oh yeah,
You're
of
like,
course.
Oh, brilliant.
I mean, again, why should the gay characters be drawn any better than any of the other ones?
And then we're on to what we all love in a film about rich people is The Masquerade.
Oh, there's got to have a masquerade ball, yeah, absolutely.
But
in a way though, right? Isn't the masks we wear in life like maybe we should strip that away and maybe have our own fuck room? I don't know. I'm not really sure what the message of that film is.
It would have been much better if Christian Grey was just wearing Riddick's goggles.
yeah. He's using all his money to buy all the props from fucking the Riddick series. I'm a man of particular taste, and he opens up and it's just like a life-size fucking Vin Diesel. And she's like, what? He goes, have you seen the Riddick trilogy, man? Like, they're super awesome. Like, the first one's dead low budget, but the second one's got Judi Dench in it. Got Judi fucking Dench is like a space alien princess, man. And she's just like, man, I would rather you just shove stuff up my butt. I don't want to keep hearing about fucking Riddick all the time. Oh, man. Chronicles of Riddick, I love it. I mean, throughout the films, they have big conflicts that are resolved super quick. So, like, the Kim Basinger one is resolved by... It's basically, Kim Basinger's kind of always finding Anastasia alone and going, you're not good enough, and try to sort of sow the seeds of doubt, I guess.
Yeah.
Try to sort of break them up. And then that's resolved by Christian Grey seeing Anastasia throw a drink on her. And at that point you think, shit, is he maybe going to think, oh, my girlfriend's a bit mental? Because then Kim Basinger will be like, she's dead mental.
But let's not forget that this comes in after like an hour's gap. The last time you see Kim Basinger and then the next time you see her to resolve the story.
Yeah.
But at the end of the movie, there's been an hour elapsed when you're just like, oh wait, this is happening again?
Oh, right. So the conflict's going to be, does he trust this woman he's known his whole life and like first shove stuff up him? Or this like new chick who'll sometimes let him shove stuff up her. He just immediately goes, yeah, you're obviously lying, Kim Basinger. And then not only that, while he's doing that, his mum comes in and goes, wait, you were fucking my boy when he was a boy? And then goes, get out of here. She's immediately kind of grasped all that, despite having come in halfway. And what I love about it, at no point did she go, wait, what? You did what? She's just like, oh, well, see you later. And then literally 2 seconds later, they're all standing round on a bridge.
Yeah.
Not Kim Basinger's got to fuck, obviously, but his mum and his dad, Christian Grey and Anastasia standing on a bridge. And there's no like, Christian, man, I can't believe that happened to you. I'm so sorry. I brought this person in. It's just like, they're standing like, well, that's that done. Those years of frankly abuse. Fuck it. And they do it with everything. There's a bit where, so the creepy boss is like, hey Anastasia, I've just decided that we need to go to New York and it's expected I'll have my assistant with me.
Yeah.
Again, the publishing industry. There's no money. There's no way.
It's the book expo.
It's the book. It's the big book expo, guys.
It's good the writer of this novel has thought, where would people in publishing go? I know. The
book concerts.
Expo.
That's the wrong words. And also what I love about that is, you know, if it did go ahead, he'd pull the whole, there's been a mix-up at the hotel. You know, there's only one bed. Well, if you're okay with it. So she goes to Christian and goes, I'm going to New York. And he goes, this guy is fucking super creepy. A better film would have been like, it's ambiguous whether he's creepy or not.
Yeah.
Like, it would be, is Christian just super jealous? Because he's creepy boss is so creepy, and I've only referred to him as creepy boss in this notepad, we're all going, yeah, don't go on a business trip with him. But then Anastasia sort of pushes back as if it was ambiguous and goes, well, no, I need to go. This is my job. And you go, oh, okay, I guess it's kind of badly handled, but they're trying. And then he goes, okay, but I'll get you there. You know, like, you don't have to go in the hotel with him. And, you know, I'll sort of travel there. I guess what they're doing is that actually all relationships are based on compromise, aren't they? You know, if you love someone on certain matters and things, you have to meet each other in the middle. And that's actually a wonderful example of compromise. Like, you need to go to this thing for your job, but this guy's creepy, so we found the solution together. And that's quite beautiful. And the next scene is when Anastasia goes, I'm not going to New York with you. Why didn't we just have this fucking scene then? They've got a solution. They've spent time on the solution. And then the next scene, they immediately, she just goes, yeah, I'm not going, boss. And why did we have that scene then? Why is that happening? You motherfuckers! They're really so annoying.
Well, in this second film, what's happened is that the husband of E.L. James, Niall Leonard, is now the screenwriter. So now she, as a producer, has her ultimate goal, which is she's effectively just getting her husband to write exactly what she wants. So none of the dialogue from the books have been changed. And whenever the plot, such that it is, fails, don't worry, because there's a pop song's going to play on the soundtrack so you know what you're meant to feel.
Should we go back to the waif?
Well, like the movie, let's have giant gaps between points.
And by giant gaps, you mean now. Come on. So let's go back to the waif. This pale-faced, obviously damaged woman keeps appearing. You thought you saw her in the bedroom at one point. And they find out that basically this is one of his old submissives.
One of the 15. There's been 15 women before Anastasia.
I imagine it's a bit like being a professional footballer. You've only got a couple of good years for injuries. Do you know what I mean? Like bad knees, prolapsed anuses. And then she basically had some terrible time. I think something like her husband dies or some shit. There was some reason why she's went mental, but frankly, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
So eventually, he's like, okay, she's dangerous, and he has like bodyguards everywhere all the time, and it's like, oh, I live in this super millionaire mansion with great security, but I'm still paranoid here. And then they go back to Anna's place, and he's like, oh, you can just go up yourself. yeah, you just go up yourself. And you're just sitting there going, well, I wonder who's going to be up there for her. You know, okay, Christian, that's fine. You know, so she gets up there, and there's like this lassie. She's got a gun, of course, because you know it's the standard operating procedure. And she's all like, "You're not the one for him. Gonna shoot you." You know, blah blah blah. And of course, like Christian comes in and sees, oh shit, she's got a gun. What the fuck am I gonna do? And then he's like, oh, hold on. And he goes to her, kneel, and was like immediately goes into that dominant submissive relationship. And she does kneel, and he's like stroking her hair. And he takes the gun off her and gives it to the guy, and he's just like stroking her hair and stuff. And Anastasia takes the fucking hump. Like she storms out like, what did you do that for? And you're like, wait, hold on. She was gonna shoot you.
Yes.
Again, for this supposedly strong, she's not went, oh, he's been very smart there and saved my life. And this is some poor troubled woman who just needs fucking medical help. She already knows there's been loads of submissives, so it's not like she's just finding out about it then.
It's not a surprise, Yeah, she knows his number.
Exactly. She runs out and is like, I am out of here, and fucking like just like disappears for a couple of hours. Again, we're meant to believe that she's a strong-willed person. She's been able to take us. She's genuinely like, well, I don't think he's a good boyfriend because he saved my life. He should have let her kill me. That would have showed him, right? Christ, you're both dicks. I don't like any of you fucking people in this. So then there's some other great stuff. The creepy boss, Christian Grey, gets him fired because he really like super makes it obvious like he's gonna fuck her. Like
he's
you better
Weinstein.
You're gonna you better fuck me or you're getting a boot. And then she tells Christian,
and that's not one of the sex toys, the boot.
The boot. And so Christian gets him sacked because he knows the CEO and he's like this all powerful billionaire guy.
He's going to buy her job. That's the thing. Like, you know, he just keeps buying things. So now he's going to. I've been thinking about getting into publishing for a while because it's a dying industry.
Yeah, the next one's going to be Christian Grey is down to his last fucking $500,000 because he keeps buying stupid shit because he's an idiot. He's like, I've bought like newspapers, record business, publishing.
Have you seen mini discs?
Yeah. You know, just completely fucking stupid shit. So he gets creepy boss sacked, and then with no fucking logic or anything, Anastasia goes to work next day and she's like, God, I think I'm going to be fired.
Yeah.
And then HR woman comes in and goes, Anastasia, we're going to need you to lead the department. Only temporary though, because that's realistic if we just say temporary.
I'm the boss now.
And she goes to like a meeting where there's like an old fuddy-duddy guy going, oh, we just need to go in with established authors. And then she's like, no, guys, what we should do, they'll turn around and be like, who's this? You know, monocle's falling off, you know, the fucking record scratch. Who's this young person? And then she goes, maybe we should take a chance on a newer offer. And they're like, ooh. And the big boss guy's like, I like your ideas. Let's talk. You're going to have that job for at least the next wee while. Come on. And you're like, what sort of bullshit is this? The author I'm thinking of has online readership, and it's like, I wonder who she could be referring to. Is there some online author that's managed to sell a lot of books? But I love the fact that the book that they're talking about is supposedly some sort of political satire. It's like, come on, E.L. We all know that yours was just a fuckfest.
E.L. James, as a writer, didn't begin writing, I think, until her 50s. And the thing that emotionally impacted on her that made her write these books were the Twilight novels. She was so infatuated with the Twilight novels.
Was she with her husband before that?
She was with her husband before that.
Because I'm not going to lie. See if your wife, who's 50 starts getting really into the Twilight series, red flag, mate. Red flag. That's the time to start putting some money in our bank account, get a lawyer, get rid of that mental case.
But weirdly, don't think she's writing like a middle-aged woman who is sort of like hungry for this passion. She's writing like an incel who can't get, do you not know this internet term?
No.
Involuntary celibate.
Involuntary celibate. Is this like what I was like at school?
Yeah, basically, people who can't find sex on their own terms. And so obviously the world is to blame. It's nothing about their personal hygiene views or
so like the
how they live
alt-right
their
will
life.
be a bunch of incels. Okay, I get it.
But this book is sort of written like from the perspective of an incel 20-something.
I think it's like written like a 17-year-old lassie who thinks she knows what sex and love is.
Okay,
That's what I would say.
more.
It's more like, well, oh, it'd be great, my boyfriend would be like a billionaire and stuff, and like nobody'd understand him, but I'd make him come out of his shell. And also because we'd have like totally like amazing sex. Oh, how kinky would it be? There'd be whips. You know, it's like, wait, you don't know anything about anything, do you?
And then he would put his penis on her vagina.
Yeah, that's right. We would make a baby. You know, it's just like, oh, you are emotionally fucking stunted. I think the whole film was written like that.
All of the writing is so terrible from the books up through into the movie because we have no plot. You know, there is no cause and consequence. Everything just happens because someone's writing this just in a fervour of trying to get to the end goal, which is my dream is to marry a handsome billionaire. For you and I, like, obviously we're messing about talking about what like sexy stuff is.
Right, isn't this sexy, guys?
When you push boundaries, like you immediately, for comedy's sake at least, go to butt play. And there's never even a hint of any backdoor action in this movie. There's like some rear entry, but like it's not into the...
Yeah, he's not like sticking up or wronging.
Well, that's a taboo sexual exploration. It's another level to go to. None of this is looked at in the film.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've talked about millions of other things. Let's get back to one of the many things that's happening.
So he asks her to marry him, right?
Yeah.
She's like,
her steel will has finally broken down his marble exterior. She's gotten inside him. He's beginning to feel things he's never felt before.
You know, he asks her to marry him, and then there's an amazing scene in the next morning of like 90 seconds of Jamie Dornan working out with his top off. It's like, they know their audience. You want to see this hot guy work out? It's gonna be good. So they do that, and it's like, no, I'm serious, I want to marry you, and all that stuff. And she's like, okay, let me think about it, right? Then about a scene or something later, she finds out that, oh my god, it's his birthday next week. I need to get him something for his birthday. And then Christian's like, oh shit, I need to go to fucking Portland. So, I've got some business thing that's just cropped up. Which what I love is like, they're so lazy.
Businessy stuff.
Like it's said as if, oh, he's going in some secret thing that we should know about. Like maybe he's going to visit that lassie in hospital.
He's been taking those mysterious phone calls.
But like it makes you think like, he's going away to do something like Anastasia would maybe frown upon, or he's going to talk to either Kim Basinger, or he's going to visit the wife in hospital. What is happening? But no, he's just going away in business, and they're so lazy they don't even go like, our new tech thing is blah blah blah. It's just like business stuff. Business stuff. We need you getting a helicopter for business stuff. And he's like, all right. And he's like, because we've established in the first film, he's a crazy billionaire that flies his own helicopter. He flies his assistant there in the helicopter, and lo and behold, right, the helicopter seems to have a malfunction. Smoke is billowing, right? Going to talk to you about another lady in this film who I think isn't that bright. Okay. So the assistant to the 27-year-old billionaire.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume like she's from like Harvard business school. So there's smoke billowing out the back. The copter's like fucking shooting to the ground. He's trying to pull up, and all you hear is beep, 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 pure alarms. And I believe she says something like, oh, what's going on? I think you can figure out what's going on. Let him fucking get... But she does it like 3 times. What's going on, Christian? What's going on? It's like, you're crashing. At this point, you're like, okay, well, I guess something at least has happened. At least something has happened.
It's visually entirely unconvincing that this helicopter is crashing, but it's an event.
Exactly, right? Stuff is happening. I want to talk about the next scene, because I think the next scene is basically 50 Shades in a fucking, like, just in Excelsius in a bubble. This is what I would show to people to say what it's like, right? So he's crashed, and it's like she's out with her friends who, oh, by the way, her flatmate is pumping his brother.
Yeah, like that.
Right. I know, right? And also, hey, fucking, friend zone boyfriend.
Jose, yeah.
He's there, because obviously, I guess if you've hired an actor, you might as well just keep him on. He's a nice guy, give him a fucking gig. They're all out for drinks, and then they get the phone call like the copter's crashed, right? So they then all somehow magic themselves to the Grey family home. home, right? And they're all fucking sitting there in Seattle, including Jose, the friend zone boy, which I like to think the whole time he's just going, oh, let him be dead. I would totally fuck. I would.
This is going to be some sympathies.
She's going to be so sad. Brilliant. So they're all just sitting there. Again, smart screenwriting, guys. They're watching the news. Right? They're watching news.
I love it. A real time.
News 24, you know? And it's like, 27-year-old self-made billionaire. Yeah, we get it. His helicopter's gone missing over blah, 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 blah forest. We don't know what's happening. Blah, 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 blah. And she's getting comforted and it's like, it's going to be okay. And she's like, oh, we didn't have enough. I thought we'd have more time and blah, blah, blah. It's got to be okay. We've got to have more time. So then 3 minutes later, what you suddenly hear in the news is Christian Grey has been found and is going back to see her. As they're saying that, he walks in the fucking room.
Strolls in the door like nothing's happened. Like, barely a hair out of place.
Right. So literally as they're saying he's safe and you think, oh, they're going to go to the hospital. No, he's literally already back. They can't even be bothered to write that scene. And then it cuts to 2 seconds later and everyone else is in the lift going, right, see you later, guys. Like, you thought he was dead. His mum's not like hugging him and going, oh my God. And they all just left to leave them two alone together. But of course, at that point, I believe it hits, just actually must be about midnight because it just hits midnight. And she goes, it's your birthday. I got you a gift before you left. Open up. It's a little cute Seattle key ring. Turn it over, Christian. And what does it say? It says yes. That's her replying to the marriage proposal, guys. They're gonna get married. Yay! Maybe take him to the hospital. Get him checked out because he's crashed a fucking helicopter. But no, just fuck it. Don't bother about that.
Don't that right into the shagging shower.
Right into she's got a muff that needs eating. Right? It is this. I laughed like a fucking log when that happened. When he walked through that door and it was all like, right, bye, we're fine. I was in stitches.
To have that helicopter crash and then to have zero dramatic tension built up a bit. Because, you know, I know we're in the second of a trilogy, but I don't know. Maybe the third film is her dealing with her life without Christian. Yeah. You know, she chose to leave him behind in the first film. And now maybe she's got no choice in it. Yeah. And the third film is her dealing with his loss and she's now out as like a pansexual explorer. Yeah. Like out in the furthest reaches of the globe. just
like, does she have a Tenzing Norgay? It's just like handing her fucking fucking things to beat people with.
That's right. She's just like scaling Everest of sex. Just like, okay, hit me with a paint can right now. Quick, the bellows.
Oh my Christ.
Oil me up, boy, I'm going in. I might write 50 Shades fan fiction.
I mean, it's the next fucking thing. Yeah. So, and I'm not, right, and I need to fucking confess.
Okay.
I was kind of like, I despite everything, right, and I think I've realised this, right, I want people to get together in films.
Right, so like 2 hours into this, or about 4 hours into this endeavour, you've decided to ship the two of them.
Despite the fact that I hate both of them, he's creepy, she's fucking an idiot. When she says yes, and she's like, take me to the red room, I was genuinely like, they're gonna work out. It's gonna work out for them. That's really nice. And I'm like, my other part of my brain is going, Chris, what the fuck? Hey, I'm just a fucking sucker for romantic couples in films, even if it's one where she shoves Benoit balls up her pussy, right? I was actually kind of happy in places for them, and I hate myself for that because they don't deserve it. These characters in this film does not deserve me to go, but yet the heart wants what the heart wants, Sal. So this film finishes, the Kim Basinger's disposed of. Yes. It's the big birthday party bash. There's fireworks. Yeah. He's got a ring for her and it's an actual ring on her finger. No, it's an actual. Let me explain this properly. Engagement ring, I believe it's called. That he shows her, and the fireworks go off, and then they go and join their family, and everything's like, and evidently also I'm like that as well because I am a 50-year-old incel, I guess. But then it cuts to creepy boss watching the fireworks and the happiness, smoking a cigarette. Ooh, he's a bad guy. He smokes. This guy's just fucking put stuff up a butt and fucking beats people. But the guy that smokes, whoa.
Yeah, and so do you think that there was some foul play with regard to the helicopter crash?
I mean, it's nice that we're talking about foul play rather than butt play for a change in this episode. So here's the thing, so he's smoking a cigarette and he kind of puts it out on Christian's fucking picture and it cuts to black almost, and I was like, actually it was quite a surprise. And then it was only when I was reading through the Wikipedia thing it was like, it could could be that he's sabotaged the helicopter. You know, this film had been so dumb and like I hadn't even considered it. The idea that the filmmakers and scriptwriters had maybe thought about something and then decided to follow it up was so revolutionary for these films that I hadn't even crossed it. In any other film, I'd be like, as soon as it happened, I'd go, creepy boss guy did it. But in this film, to have something followed up on, not immediately resolved, like, holy shit, well done. Film writing 101, you fucks.
I think a big problem of this film is that there's a lot of stuff like setting up for the next film.
Out of the two of them, what did you prefer? You preferred the first one, I'm assuming, from what you said.
No, the first one, construction-wise, is a better film. The second one is more enjoyable because it had sort of elements of a thriller.
Yeah, things almost happened. Whereas nothing almost happened.
The first film, for being the story that's trying to set two people up, is really dull. And there's really
that's all that happens.
There's no narrative drive. Whatsoever. Even like his baggage of his upbringing and his mysterious mother and why he is the way he is, none of it goes anywhere. The second film is a masterclass in delayed gratification because stuff happens, you don't hear about it for at least an hour, and then it closes the loop. Good. There's a plot strand that I had forgotten was happening has been closed off.
I found in the second one, like, the actors and our characters seem to get on more. Like, they seem to be having a bit of fun with each other.
Okay.
Like, there seemed to be just, like, moments where, while it was still terrible and not particularly well acted, it seemed like they were having fun.
Right, yeah.
Which made me at least go, right, there's fun somewhere. I might not be necessarily feeling it, but, like, there seems to be at least some sort of element of, this is a fucking Lifetime movie with kinky stuff added on, and they kind of knew what it was and we just went for it. I think the first one had that tension that didn't suit it, and I guess because he's meant to be so repressed and all that.
He is so staged,
that they didn't act like a couple, really. And then in the second one, there's a lot more things in it where I was like, you know what? That actually kind of is a coupley thing, like waiting on each other's text messages. Like a wee smile when you get a text message back for somebody else to have a new relationship with and all that stuff. There was like wee bits, and there was a wee bit more of that, and the wee bit kind of like having wee jokes with each other, which, you know, again, they weren't funny for the audience, but you go, that's the kind of dumb shit you say when you're in a you're in a new relationship. I was watching this, I was genuinely thinking, like, this is terrible. Could you have made a good movie out of this? And I think you actually could be like a great movie made about relationships, but making it that these two people meet, they have their meet cute or whatever, but one is into like BDSM or whatever, and the other one is maybe like not experienced and maybe not into that and maybe a bit more romantic, but they both genuinely really like each other. You all have that when you meet somebody. It's like, all right, well, how much do you let them into your fucking life? And so a kind of very dramatic way to have that thematically would be that one's got this sort of unconventional sex life, one's got a very conventional, and maybe she's also ashamed of that because in the modern era, as a modern woman, she's meant to be down for everything. Like, you basically play out the beats of becoming a couple, but instead of it being like, I don't really like Italian food, but I know you did, and that's why we went there a couple of times. Or, I know you love listening to the Diminishing Returns podcast, and I said I like listening to it, and you made me listen to it, but actually those two guys are dicks, you know. Do you know what I mean? Like, these little kind of letting people in, and then on where you draw the boundaries and where do you go, right, this is going too fast, this is going too slow.
Just one finger.
Yeah, right. But that you could make an actually really grown up, interesting film that basically you would all go, I recognise the stages of this, but to make it more interesting for a film, it would be about these sort of bigger, wilder ideas. And you could have that in there, and it could be this really interesting you've got the male-female dynamic, you've got the experienced and non-experienced dynamic, you've got the how much you let somebody in, how much do you compromise the power dynamic in bondage and stuff. Because every relationship has a power dynamic. You know, like me and you.
I'm a power bottom, apparently.
Yes. But, you know, there is a power dynamic in every relationship. So again, you could really play with some really interesting stuff. None of that happens in this film. No. You know, so again, Hollywood, if you would like to hire me to write that script, I'm not going to lie, I will be able to do all the emotional stuff, but when it gets to kinky sex stuff, I will have to just put TBC, to be confirmed. And then
they go at it.
They pump. They pump in a weird way. And then I'll get an expert in to do those bits. Here's the thing. We're going to have to do the third one next year, aren't we? What does the third film in the shit? Like, right, here's the thing.
Where does it go? It's going to be about the boss sabotaging the wedding. I hope it's like that. Dynasty episode when the armed like terrorists storm into the wedding and machine gun like half the cast down.
That would be sweet. For completion, I think I need to see how it ends. How does Creepy Boss Guy, who is a book editor, are book editors known for their like ninja assassin skills? Like, what is he going to really do? Who fucking knows? Yeah, I think we need to. I think we have to do it, right? Right. So far we've only seen the first two. The third one's out Valentine's Day. So that was last week. So I'm sure you've seen the notices. I'm assuming this is like, it's getting 5 stars everywhere. Where do these films stand for you in general? I would say it's the worst 2 films we've done for the podcast.
Yeah, content wise, it's the worst.
Worse than Basic Instinct 2 for me. The
worse
first
than
one,
Miscongeniality 2.
I would say Basic Instinct 2, Miscongeniality 2, and the first 50 Shades are the 3 worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst film, or at least equal worst film that we've seen in our podcast life. I mean, the experience of watching this is like your delayed gratification, except without the gratification. Watching these films was like probably getting stuff shoved up my butt. I mean, I've had a couple of fingers, I'm a grown man, but but as I was watching it, there was one thing that I was like, wait, what? I want to get your live, unvarnished reaction, okay?
Okay.
Can you hand me my phone, please? Does Jamie Dornan have one really big eye? Look how big that fucking eye is!
You're hurting my arm.
I mean, it's massive, but it's only one, and it's the one that's furthest away. How can that be possible? It took me ages to get that photo. We'll obviously put this photo up. That's why I need to watch the third film. I need to know, does anyone address the fact that Jamie Dornan has one massive eye? He's having an embolism. I've finally got on board with this relationship. They've not had enough time, Al.
No. On the wedding day, his brain, just an aneurysm, just good night, sweet prince.
That was, I'm just going to say, that was sexy times. Oh,
Sexy
times. It was a pleasure to have this Valentine's themed episode with you, mate.
I'm glad.
Obviously, we don't have a physical address for you to send your cards of love and affection, but if you would like to be our Valentine, you can email us at diminishingpod@gmail.com. You can get us on Twitter at diminishingpod. On Facebook, we are Diminishing Returns Podcast. You can @messages at Diminishing Returns Pod on Facebook. On Instagram, we're Diminishing Pod, and we have a blog at diminishingpod.wordpress.com. We have some shit uploading to YouTube. You're just gonna have to search for that one. We are an independent podcast. Guys, it's been great. There's loads of people that have been telling us that they've enjoyed the show and that they've recommended it to friends. Keep doing it. Rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe in your podcast feeds to make sure you don't miss an episode. And please continue to tell your friends if they're into this sort of nonsense. Send them a link to the actual show. Make sure they get the right Diminishing Returns. Me and Al are going to just wipe ourselves down, take out the Benoit balls, and kind of gently try and have a seat, but it's probably going to hurt a little. See you later, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Honestly, as much as I hate watching films, I like the fact because I get to see like Fanny and pussy and stuff. I'm a grown ass man, and I still find that stuff hilarious. Why am I single?